Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Luna over here. I'm a real estate agent here in Philly. In today's video, I am going to tell you guys 5 clients that I've had in my career that I think I will probably remember for the rest of my life. By telling you guys the story about 5 clients, I hope you can get inspiration and get inspired. So let's get started. So the first client is a lovely couple, and I'm not gonna reveal their name, but they were my first ever investor client that I've had. It's actually a lead purchase from Zillow. She was looking for a duplex in Northeast Philly, so I was able to get them to purchase a property within 2 months. And then after working with them, they wanted to buy a second property near Temple. So we also found them another property near Temple the following 2 months. I ended up closing close to $500,000 with this couple in 5 months. And I have to say, down to earth, they are the kindest person. It's because when you are working with a new agent, sometimes it's not because they just fully trust me in everything that I do, and every time making decisions they will ask me for my opinion, are so considerate. Sometimes they will want to see one property, and instead of having me drive and open the door, which is my job and I don't mind, they will go to the neighborhood and take a look at the house first and let me know if they like the area. If they don't, I don't have to go to the property. And sometimes they will even come down from New York and just look at the property during an open house instead of having me to physically go there and just open the door for them. So this is my first client, and the second one is my first ever cold call client. He's having a corner property. Was prospecting, and I was like, hey, are you thinking about selling your property? And he said, yeah, I have a corner property, but it's tenant occupied. If you can get me a buyer, I would sell it. So I scheduled the following appointment to meet him at a property. We talked about the price, and Joey actually happened to have a client, so we made the deal together super quick. And that was the first time I've actually closed a cold call lead, which kind of just tells me cold call really works. And that pumped me and speed up and boost up my confidence level, especially on the phone. When you believe and trust and getting reward for something that you've been doing, you will just do it 10 times harder. And now I'm gonna tell you guys how I got my first $1 million commercial listing. That was 2 months ago in the middle of winter. I was prospecting just like usual on the phone. So I talked to this guy, and he's like, yeah, I am thinking about selling my corner property. What do I have to do? So I was like, okay, if you're thinking about selling, does it have tenant in there? Are you doing a 1031 exchange? Where is your money going to? And he's like, what's a 1031 exchange? So I explained to him, and I told him what are some fees and the costs that he needs to pay if he's thinking about selling his investment property. So later he told me, he's like, well, I actually know everything, and this is not just my only property, I have more. I just wanted to see if you are a scammer. So I set a listing appointment with him the following after Thanksgiving. And then when I go meet him at the property, I was almost late because I was in the middle of closing, and the closing was postponed. So I almost didn't make it. But I told him, I said, hey, I'm running 15 minutes late because I'm at closing, but I will be there. And he said, no problem. So I went there and saw him, and my seller was wearing jeans and a hoodie. He walked me through the property. I told him how much I would list it for. We had a plan. He's okay with it. So he's like, okay, sure, I'll let you list it. So I list that property, and then he also mentioned, he's like, I have a lot of commercial. Do you do commercial? And I told him, I said, no, but I'm happy to do it. I don't want to lie to him telling him I'm an expert in commercial, which I've never sold a commercial listing. I know it's a totally different ball game compared to residential, but I do want to. I'm really, excited, and I've always wanted to learn how to do commercial listing and transactions. So he said, if you can help me sell this property and do a good job, I'll give you my commercial listing, which is a whole block of accession in Bridgeburg. So I sold the property for him, and I went and we went to, well, the next day, well, I sold the property in a week. right? Then I wasn't sure if he's like being serious about that 1.5 million listing. I just didn't know, like, how would you trust someone who you just talked to on the phone? So I followed up with him after our closing, and I was like, okay, so like, are you still thinking about selling that listing that you were mentioning in the commercial space? He's like, yeah. And then he said I can go, you know, talk to him. He has all the blueprint and all the building plans in his office. So I went to his office, right? Like, this is the part where you should never judge someone. You should just always treat everyone the same thing. Because the first time I meet my seller, he was dressed in jeans and hoodie. And then when I went to his office, I only saw a 2-story building. I saw that was his office. He's like, no, you gotta go all the way down to the back. So I drove on that road all the way to the back, and I saw a construction site, and I was on the phone with him, and I was like, okay, never mind, I found it. Because I saw his last name on the gate. Says his last name, a construction company. So he owns that whole construction site with like 4 warehouses and big trucks moving around. He's a builder. And that was just shocking to me, because I can't believe I cold called and I met a builder. So after talking to him for a while, he's been in the city and he's been a builder for like several decades, and he used to build church and turn that into apartments, and he also built like hospitals and schools. And but long story short, I got the commercial listing. Right now we're listing it. So I just want you guys to know, you're only one cold call away from $1 million listing. This is no joke. And don't ever judge anyone and treat everyone the same way. So the next one, oh, my nail lady. That's the 4th client that I think I'll never be able to forget. I always do my nails from the same nail lady. And I remember I was telling her how I love, you know, real estate. I've been doing it for a while. And then she actually told me that her husband has a property that they've been thinking about getting rid of. And right now it's tenant occupied. They will let me know when the tenants are moving out. So I've been in contact with the nail lady, obviously, because I get my nails done like every 3 weeks. If you guys are curious of like why I always have pretty nails, it's because I have a nail lady that I go to and see. So she's always like, not only she let me list her husband's listing, the investment property, every time when people go in and do their nails, and she will introduce me and tell them like, hey, do you have properties you want to sell? I know this girl, she's in real estate. And I am going to be always grateful for people like her, who has such a kind soul and just, you know, help me. Like, we don't know each other, and the fact that she's helping me promote my business is just mind-blowing. And last but not least is my first ever buyer client. I remember with working for Joey for like 4 months, I finally got another buyer lead from Zillow. When that person called, he said he's looking to buy something around 200,000. At that point, I wasn't even familiar with the Northeast Philly. Like, I don't even know different zip codes. I have no idea where he's looking for. So this buyer actually put in where he wants to see for the zip codes to me. He sent me all the listings that he likes. So I showed him 4 houses, and he ended up picking the second one. I also remember taking him to Paramount Mortgage Company in Chinatown to help him get his mortgage paperwork and get him pre-approved. And, you know, finally we were able to put that on the contract. Thankfully, there's no bidding war or crazy stuff, because I was a brand new agent and the price on the property probably was a little bit high. I asked Joey for a second opinion on how much we should offer the price for, and thankfully we get that on the contract and we close it in 2 months. And I'm really, really grateful too for my first client to ever trust that, like build that trust in me for purchasing a home. That's such a crazy decision on the family, and they were, you know, letting me to be part of it, and just, I don't know, it's amazing. So above are the 5 remarkable clients that I've had in my journey. And if you guys watch until this far, make sure you comment fortune cookies down below. And if you have any great stories or people that you just helped out along the way, make sure you share in the comment section below. We'd love to hear that. thank you so much, you guys, for watching today's video. This is Luna over here. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.